What you're about to experience are my opinions and truths. I'm suggesting these possibilities for you to consider, enabling you to come up with your own conclusions. All right, ladies and gentlemen, fellow decoders around the world, wherever you may be, my name is Logan, your tour guide, and this is Decode Your Reality. Today, we're going to be doing another episode of Scripted Reality. This is going to be number 26. And oh boy, do I have an in-your-face, clear as day, undeniable, scripted reality. This one is going to be obviously on the movie Avengers. These two characters, Thanos and Iron Man. Josh Brolin and Robert Downey Jr. This is going to be off of this movie right here. Classic, like I've watched it so many times, 3+ hours, the best one so far, Avengers Endgame. Have you seen this one? I hope so. If you haven't seen it, well, you know, we're going to talk a little bit about it, but not giving it all away. But the ending is kind of what we're going to be talking about. So if you haven't watched this, you may want to go watch the movie first. If you don't care, well, buckle up, put on a pair of headphones, block out the outside world. I promise you, ladies and gentlemen, this just gets tighter and tighter to show. We live in a scripted reality. I just don't know how all these people could pull this off. So here we go. And this is really the scene here at the end, right? Towards the end. And Thanos has the glove on. He has the steel, the glove on with all the stones, right? All these infinity stones, which gives him all the power. But during this scene, Robert Downey Jr. is trying to fight him to get the glove off, and Thanos easily pushes him off. But what he doesn't realize is that Robert Downey Jr. pulls the stones off, and he's got him on his hand now. And I'm not going to go into the whole depth of the story. If you've seen this movie, you know what happens. But this scene was pivotal for the finale of this series. And this is the ending scene, and this is what is scripted, folks. The entire movie, the whole thing, our entire reality is scripted. But if this does not I don't like using the word prove. I'm not a fan of using that, so I use support, but if this doesn't really prove to you that humankind are not in control of this reality, I don't know what else will do it for you. Right? So I'm going to go to the timestamps again. How many times have I done this? And I pressed pause exactly when Robert Downey Jr., aka Iron Man, says, "And I am Iron Man." And he snaps his fingers, and then I'm not going to go into the details of what happens. I paused it. It was at 2 hours, 30 minutes, and 31 seconds. Now, this is the version that I have. You can fact check this yourself. I would encourage you skeptics to do that. 2 hours, 30 minutes, and 31 seconds. So this is a big deal because this was the pivotal moment at the end of the movie. So we're going to measure that. We're just going to simply add up the numbers. So here we go. That's what we do as decoders. These numbers are the source code. And there are so many clues here. So this adds up to the number 63. Now remember what happens here. As he snaps his fingers, he wipes out Thanos and company. Right? 63 is the total addition of this timestamp of when he said, "And I am Iron Man." 63. So we're going to measure this through the tarot. We're going to start with the tarot. There are 78 cards in the tarot, so this is the 63rd card in the tarot, which is the Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords. When you get this card in a tarot reading, I mean, it's the consort of the King of Swords, which is the no-nonsense king. Well, the Queen does the same thing as the King. She just does it in a little bit of a mild manner than the King does. But the Queen is the simulation giver. Literally, Robert Downey Jr. changes the simulation in such a big way during this movie. 63. But this is just beginner stuff. This is not even impressive what I'm showing you. I'm going to continue to show you what's impressive here. So this Queen of Swords comes from the 51st card in the Cards of Illumination, the Cards of Destiny, Cartomancy, the playing cards, the Queen of Spades. Okay, the Queen of Spades, card 51. So we have the 63 to measure the timestamp of when he snaps his fingers and says, and I am Iron Man, and all that stuff changes. And that converts into the 51st card, the Queen of Spades. So I'm going to go right into the solar spreads. Right? Now, if you're new to this, well, these spreads, this is a system in itself. And these go all the way up to solar spread number 90, and then they repeat. And these cards, they move around. So this is an oracle in itself. And you can predict things for what's going to happen with these cards because they're embedded into nature. So right off the bat, why am I going to go to solar spread 25? Because Iron Man is 25. And I'm going to locate that Queen of Swords. There it is. And notice what I have highlighted here. You see, horizontally, it sits in the Mars line. Vertically, it sits in the Mars line. This is the Mars space, which there sits the Queen of Swords, the Queen of Spades. And what is Mars, folks? Mars is freaking iron. Okay? Iron. But wait, there's more. We compare it with the master life spread, right? The 0.4 duality. We're going to get into the spirit, but the master life spread, what's sitting in that same spot? The 6 hearts card. Card number 6, element 6 called carbon. What is carbon? Matter. Iron Man. The word Mars is 10. Man is 10. It's Iron Man. With this is so amazing. But let's keep going. I have more to show you. Now, I'm going to digress and I'm going to talk about, if you have not watched this Decode, Killing in the Name, which featured Rage Against the Machine. I covered this in my scripted reality. The very first one I covered, Killing in the Name. And this right here is the mighty Jesus talking. Matthew 10 verses. How does theology fit into a movie called The Avengers made by Marvel? Well, you see, this scripture right here is Jesus, and he's saying, I'm coming with a sword. I'm not coming with peace. I'm coming to wipe you out. That's exactly what happened during this scene. He wiped out all the evil. Okay, this is what this whole thing about Jesus is. So they're mimicking that in the movie Iron Man, right? And now I'm going to do something called theonumerology. Theo meaning God, God numerology. What do we do? Well, see, it's 10 chapters. So we take all the verses from those 10 chapters and we're just going to simply add them up using the trusty calculator. Now, this is not the first time I've done this. I've done this with the Central Intelligence Agency. I've done it in several decodes. The Shiva decoded. We get a total of 307. Now, you ready for this, folks? What is 307 in mathematics? Oh, well, it's just the 63rd prime number. And we go right back. Here's the modernized version of the Queen of Swords. 63rd card in the deck. And again, I go back up here. He, at the time frickin' stamp, that he says, and I am Iron Man, and he wipes out Thanos and company. Frickin' 63, which is the Queen of Swords, Queen of Spades, Iron Man. You see how scripted this reality is? Theology. Jesus. What do you think Iron Man? What do you think Robert Downey Jr. is playing here? He's playing Jesus. Good cop, bad cop. Thanos was the bad cop. Iron Man was the good cop. That's what Iron Man ended up doing. Right here. Killing in the name of what? Killing in the name of religion, gods, deities, the screenplay, the script. Okay? Let's keep going and show you some more. Now, I'm going to go to Solar Spread 51 to match the Queen of Spades from the Queen of Swords. She's card 51, so I'm going to go to Solar Spread 51, and I'm going to compare it against now the Master Spirit Spread, the boilerplate chart that does not move and anchors every other chart to it. And there's the Queen of Spades right in the dead center of the Jupiter line, the Jupiter pillar. This is huge. This right here is massive. And what's sitting in that same spot in Solar Spread 51? The 10 of Swords, another sword. And here's the modernized version of it. So if you think about this scene, and he clips his fingers and he wipes out all the evil. Okay? Wipes it all out. Brings the sword in. Now, I'm showing you the word sword in Greek because this is from this. See, the New Testament was written, supposedly, I'm regurgitating this, it was written in Koine Greek, Koine. So it uses the modern Greek alphabet. That doesn't mean you don't have to use the ancient Greek. I've been using it like crazy, but it gives you the code, right? So the modern Greek, the word for sword, as in Jesus saying, I'm coming with a sword, is the 63. And it's the Queen of Swords. So when somebody tells me, oh, the tarot's from the devil, what do you think the Bible's from? If I can measure this with words from the Bible, then this is not any more devilish than the Bible itself. We have to use logic and common sense. And again, this is not a one-hit wonder. I've been doing this for years and years and years. I've broken down so many biblical verses now, I can't even keep count anymore. So the cards and the tarot and numerology have everything to do with theology. Theology is a story just like the Avengers. The Bible is a movie just like the Avengers. And so the sword here, obviously, the 10 of Swords is finished. This is somebody being impaled by 10 swords. They're done. It's game over. That's why it was called Avengers Endgame. Because the sword came out and Robert Downey Jr. was playing Jesus, like so many other characters have in so many different movies. Okay? So many different movies. Let's now go to Solar Spread 25. Solar Spread 25 to match Iron Man's 25. And I'm going to look to find where's that 10 of Swords? Right here. And I'm going to compare it against Solar Spread 63 since the Queen of Swords is card 63 in the tarot. And there's the match again. So that Queen of Swords is tied right to that 10 of Swords. And we now have massive confirmation that this is tied to Jesus. Now, the Queen of Swords is tied to the Flower of Life because Flower of Life equals 63 and 6 and 3 is 9. There's your 369. And that is the Shalom. That is the eye of Shalom. That is good. That is the Christ, Jesus. I'm bringing in the sword to wipe out. This is the immune system wiping out the bacteria and viruses in the body. Same situation, different scenario. Okay? That's exactly how all this looks. Right? That's how all this stuff looks. So, if we look at it in the Rider-Waite card, It gives you a clear indication of what Iron Man was doing, what Jesus is going. This is all happening now, which I've talked about so many times. Jesus is already back. It's happening. It's happened through the pandemic. That's part of the sword. It's happening in these drug-induced cities. That's part of the sword. Yada, yada, yada. That's the return of Jesus, folks. Okay? That's what it is. When you do the bingo chart, each of these spaces are numbered. So there's that 10 of swords. Well, here it is 1 through 52. And we just have to go higher. We have to go the second tier. And there's the number 63. No matter if you start at number 1 here or number 1 here, it sits in the middle pillar. All these numbers will always remain the same no matter if you go left to right or right to left. 63 sits in space number 11. And what is number 11? The age of Aquarius. Okay? The age of Aquarius is the age of Christ. That's why he says in Luke 22 verses 10, follow me into the house with a man bearing a pitcher of water. That's Aquarius. That's the number 11. That's the card Justice in the major arcana, folks. This is what's happening on the world stage. Trimming the fat, getting rid of the dead wood, getting rid of the bacteria and viruses. So the Marvel movie was a rendition of that story. That's all it is. These are all stories from other stories from other stories. Scripted reality, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's get into some mathematics. If you weren't impressed by that, maybe this will do it for you. I don't know how else really you to measure this up and say this ain't scripted. I'm going to now bring in mathematics. And this is the golden ratio. The golden ratio is tied to the source code. The source code writes this reality. We just see it as the final product. Like, oh, that's the Avengers movie. Behind the Avengers movie are numbers, letters, and symbols. Code. Well, this is part of that code. So here is 26 digits. Why 26? Because the element iron is 26. And what you're seeing here is this is Iron Man. See the man there? And these just so happen to be in succession with each other. Iron Man. This is called ferrum. Iron Man. Manganese. And I'm going to support what I'm showing you here just a little bit. So because it's Iron Man and it's 26, we're going to go 26 digits and measure that in the string of the golden ratio. We get a total of 141. That is a permutation of pi. That is the square root of 2. That is praseodymium, which is the prison, which is the 59, which is the 59 rosary beads. I can go on and on with this. But here is what makes up Iron Man. Iron Man is 6 and 8. The 25th digit is 6. The 26th digit is the number 8. 68 is the number. And if you've been paying attention, it's tied to the killing name. In 2008, Slipknot came out with this album called All Hope Is Gone. And their song was called, their second song off the album, Gematria, the killing name. This is off my Gematria Decoded. There's the 68. This is all about killing, folks. Killing in the name of. I'm coming with a sword. Iron Man snapping his fingers and wiping out Thanos and company. You're starting to see the trend here, right? It's a movie that we're living inside of. And then we make movies to copy the movie that was already built. That's how it gets all scripted. This 68 is big because it's tied to the 2 world wars, including the invasion of Ukraine, which just may be the official start date of World War III. If they're going to retro all the way back and say, well, the invasion of Ukraine was on the 24th of February, they're going to measure it out. They all have 68 as their numerology. Even if you get rid of the invasion of Ukraine, the Second World War and the First World War, they both have a numerology of 68. Not by accident. It's the killing name. A lot of people die in wars. Well, this Avengers was a war. Good against evil. The immune system against the bacteria and viruses. Thanos and company. That's what it was all about. Okay, the 68. Well, now we're going to go ahead and we're going to bring pi into this now, right? Pi, the perfect circle. the earth that we live on. We're going to measure 26 digits as well to match Iron Man. And we have the 25th digit, the number 4, the 26th, the number 3. 43 is the outcome. 97 is the total. 97 is the 25th prime number. There it is. And what is 25? Freaking Iron Man. Iron Man is 25. 97 is the 25th prime number. And 97 is the total for all 26 digits in the string of 3.144 pi. I mean, are you freaking kidding me? There it is. It's undeniable how amazing this code is. And on top of that, ladies and gentlemen, Robert Downey Jr., born on April 4th, he's got the 43rd card in the deck for his birthday. Why is this important? Because the 43 represents Iron Man in the string of pi. So we've measured the mathematical formula for pi and the 26 digits to make up Iron Man, the 25th and 26 digits. We brought in alchemy and chemistry. We've brought in mathematics and prime numbers. We've brought in numerology. And then we bring in the final piece here to show how this system of the cards, of alchemy, of science, of numbers, of mathematics and prime numbers, and mathematics through pi and phi, how all this is connected. And this is how I feel there's no way, especially with the timestamp of that specific place in that movie of when he snaps his fingers, to have it come out like this, I just don't buy it. I just don't see mankind being able to pull this off. I just don't. And on top of that, you got to cast these people. Like, were they sitting down and they needed a guy that had a 4 of spades because it was the 43rd card in the deck, and Iron Man right there, the 25 and 26 digit in the string of pi, ended up being the 4 and 3? I think it's absurd to think that. This, to me, and this is why I have this series of scripted reality, I mean, this is huge. The 25th prime, Iron Man, 97 being the 25th prime number, and the total addition is 97. So we have the 141 from phi with the 68, right? The total is 141, and the total here is 97. So when I bring those together, folks, here it is, both of them. The 25th and 26th digit to make up Iron Man is the 6 and 8 and the 4 and 3. Right? It's 141 and 97. So now I'm just going to use math. I'm going to do the 68. Oh, I had to come back to this. I'm going to do the 60. I got that out of order. I'm going to do the 68 and the 43. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to come back to that. The 68 and 43. We're going to add it up. What does it equal? 111. That's very interesting because I can take the two elements that represent Iron Man. And what is 56 and 55, folks? Right here. 111. Do you see how magical this is? To be able to cast a guy. A lot goes into casting. Never mind having to pick a guy who's got a 4 of spades birthday. And his numerology of his April 4th, 1965, and just so many different layers that I didn't even bring into this are beyond the comprehension of man being able to code it this way. I'm not buying it. This is a scripted reality. So here is what I wanted to talk about. The 141 and 97, going back up here. The 141 for the total of the 26 digits of the 1.61, and then 97 for the total of the 3.14, 26 digits, the Iron Man. We're going to add those up now. We get the number 238. And what is the 238? It's the freaking element uranium. And what does it have right on there? A big fat U. What is this? This is the Royal Society of Chemistry's image. I made this one up. But this is the Royal Society of Chemistry's icon that now matches this, which matches the pi and phi sequence of the 26 digits from right here. Do you see what would have to go into for this Royal Society of Chemistry to pick this, I just don't buy it. I just don't. And now we have the 92 and uranium, Uranus. And on top of that, ladies and gentlemen, the 238th day of the year, to get to this number here, look at what day it is. The common and leap year, it's August 25th and 26th to match that element iron and manganese, Iron Man. It's so scripted and so connected and so magical. I mean, it's just so magical, right? So magical. So when you take all of these protons, neutrons, and electrons, 26 plus 25 plus 56 plus 55, you're going to get 162. That's what you'll get. And we go into string of the golden ratio again. There's the 162. And look at what it lands on. It occupies digit 236, 237, and 230 freaking 8. 238. 238. August 25th and 26th. Iron Man. Scripted reality, folks. Scripted reality, man. It's the Queen of Swords. The Queen of Spades. The Queen is the Q, the 17. Sitting at the top of the hierarchy. Sitting in the Jupiter line as well. The Jupiter crown line. On top of that. Perhaps representing the sun. Right? And the last thing I can show you here, folks, even with this right here, is the fact that March 3rd and March 4th, the common and leap year, 62 and 63, 63 and 64. The big takeaway is the 63 to match that 63rd card, the Queen of Swords. What do you see here? March 3rd and March 4th. Well, what is that? 34 or what? 43, which is what is 43? It's Robert Downey Jr.'s birth card. 43, 34, it's a number permutation. These dates on the calendar of Gregorian are insanely synced. With numerology, here's the sword. 63, the sword. It's just all connected, folks. It's all connected. So we're going to go to Solar Spread now, number 54. Why am I going to do Solar Spread 54? Because the Avengers Endgame came out in 2019 and Robert Downey Jr. was born in 1965. That means he was 54 years young here when they shot this scene. When they, well, I don't know when they shot it, but when they put it out in 2019, he was 54. So I go to Solar Spread 54, right? Here are the dates. And here's his birth card right here. The 4 spades card. What line is it sitting in? Jupiter horizontally, Uranus vertically. And what is the 26 card representing iron? As in Iron Man? It sits in the Uranus horizontally, Jupiter vertically. Iron, the king of clubs, right? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at Jupiter and Uranus. Again, they released this movie and he was 54, Solar Spread 54, and here's his birth card. Sitting in the Jupiter-Uranus line. And then this card is the card that sits in the Uranus-Jupiter line through horizontal and vertically this way. So these two spots represent Jupiter and Uranus. King of Clubs, 26 card. 26 element is iron. Robert Downey Jr.'s birth card, the 43rd card in the deck. The 4 of spades. So now we're going to look at, and here's the confirmation. I forgot I had this slide. There's the King of Clubs matching the element iron. Okay? Matching the element iron as I had stated. And again, the big takeaway is his birth card for when he was 54 when they released this movie was sitting in the Jupiter-Uranus line. And what's sitting in the Uranus-Jupiter line here is the King Clubs card. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the nail in the coffin here, if you're a fan of the cards, is that this right here is Robert Downey Jr.'s Phoenix card. The phoenix rising from the ashes, him snapping his fingers and wiping out the dirty Thanos and company. We start here. This is card number 1, 2. We drop down to the second tier. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. This is the Phoenix card for Robert Downey Jr. when they released this movie, and it's the 26 card sitting in there, and it's the element iron, folks. Are you seeing this? This is huge, and it sits in the Uranus-Jupiter line. And what is Uranus? Remember, it's the 238, right? Uranus, March 25th to March 26th, day number 238, that's Uranus. Uranium. Okay? So, when we look at Solar Spread 54 a little bit deeper, you can see that not only is Zeus 54, the king of the gods, and there was a lot of electricity that was going on through those hands as he put the glove on. Zeus, the king of the gods, gets the nod here, and then his grandfather, Uranus, which represents heaven, is sitting in the space horizontally and vertically here to match up with these two spaces. The numerology, folks, of both of them in the original Greek is 162. Do you remember what that 162 was? Do you remember what this was? When you take the neutrons, protons, and electrons of Iron Man, you get 162. Bam! That was well deserving. 162. This is how valuable the card system is. Him being 54, this is his Phoenix card. This is how you find your Phoenix card. It's just this. You have 13 cards every year, and they go from right to left, top to bottom. And the King of Clubs, the 26 card in the deck, which matches iron, was Robert Downey Jr.'s Phoenix card. And it doesn't get any more scripted than this. Using the original language of these original ideas and where they came from. So there you go. There you go, folks. Iron Man, Decoded, scripted reality, Decoded. And the big takeaway was the OG of the Zodiac. It's the primordial. It's uranium. And just remember that uranium is the ruler of Aquarius. And Aquarius is where you have the age of Jesus and cryptocurrency. And of course, yes, there's going to be a purge. Yes, there's going to be a clearing of the board. Absolutely. Because this is the way the earth is sick. And now you have the primordial uranium coming in and doing exactly what Tony Stark did and Iron Man. Wiping out the filth, the bacteria, the germs, Thanos and company. And it was Iron Man. That's how valuable this is and how scripted our reality is, ladies and gentlemen. We live inside of a comic book. We live inside of a comic book movie, right? We live inside of a movie, and that's my final answer. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Scripted reality 26 matching iron. The Phoenix card for Robert Downey Jr. was absolutely massive for this presentation. Would love to hear what you saw. Keep your comments coming. That's all I got for today. My name is Logan for Decode Your Reality. Until next time, we will see you later.